Finally, our NT server network should have at least one backup domain controller per domain for fault tolerance purposes. But depending on whether our domain spans a WAN link and on the number of users we are supporting, we may need to add more BDCs. If our domain spans a WAN link, we should consider placing BDCs on each remote side. This will allow the users to authenticate locally, and it will provide fault tolerance if the WAN link goes down. Some factors to consider when deciding if we need a BDC on the remote end of a WAN link are the number of users on the remote WAN, the speed of our WAN link, and the cost. As a rule of thumb, we need a BDC for every 2,000 network users who will be making a logon request. In addition, we should consider what it would cost to add a BDC to the remote WAN link, as well as what it would cost in terms of productivity if the WAN link went down. A member server is an NT server that acts as a file, printer, or application server. Member servers have their own domain SID, and because they do not have a domain SID like a PDC or BDC, they can be moved from one domain to another without requiring reinstallation. Now that we understand the different roles a server can play, let's learn about how to manage a multiple domain environment through trust relationships. In an enterprise environment, a trust is an administrative link that combines two or more domains. Simply put, a trust allows a user in one domain to access a resource in another domain, without actually having a user account in both places. The domain where the user is located is called the trusted domain, and the domain where the resource is located is called the trusting domain. The greatest confusion in understanding trust relationships lies in their general depiction. When a user wants to access a resource, most people will think of the relationship in terms of an arrow pointing from the user to the resource. This way of thinking implies that the resource is trusted by the user. But this is not correct. The correct way of envisioning a trust relationship is with the arrow pointing to the user from the resource. In actuality, the user is being trusted by the resource, not the other way around. And if we have users and resources in both domains and wanted to have bidirectional access, a two-way trust relationship would be needed to make access possible. Once we can get past this understandable confusion, understanding the way trust relationships work is a breeze.